It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
Yeah, welcome back to Declare Your Independence. You know, I'm in communication right now with the guys from ISIL working on the Arabic translation. They got the Arabic translation done already. The problem that they're having is being able to get the font in onto the animation because the technical right-left stuff, whatever. I have no idea. But they're wanting to know how they're not going to be able to even get to it until Thursday. So I'm like, I was hoping to get them sent out by them. But this, it's kind of, let me tell you what's going on, Glenn. I got Jordan Page's album. I got a copy of it here, front looking cool. Got a lot of good stuff in there. But you open it up, it's 2 pages of American flags, man. It's American flag CD, American flag inserts, American flag. On the back, it's got American flag and the Holy Bible. So I'm going, maybe this shouldn't go to Cairo. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's not reasonable.
Whoa, we got a bad connection there. How am I coming through?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, it's getting bad. I tell you what, go ahead and hang up and call right back in, would you?
Okay,
let's go ahead and do that because it's really bad. I want to get a good connection. I'm going to get Sarah in here, go ahead and, push buttons. Now, the one thing that I wanted to get into this hour and what we'll be talking to Glenn about is that, he has a nice life. He has a nice home in Tennessee and so on. But, he's starting to, getting, where he's starting to make stuff and get things all taken care of too. Because he knows that, we got some business taken care of, and most of that is just breathing in and out and being able to let me see if I can push the right button here. I go like this, like that. I go like that. I do that. I put this down. I press that. Are you there?
Yeah, hey Ernie, can you hear me now?
I did it. Yeah, I usually have to have Sierra push the buttons. So go ahead and tell us how you're preparing. If you're of the mind of what's coming, that it's going to affect, because you and I both have a lot of friends that, on the varying levels, socio and economic levels of existence, and inflation affects some way more than others. Now, people that have resources that they've invested in things that are denominated in U.S. dollars, all of a sudden, over the last couple of years, they're worth half or less what they were, and they're angry, but they're probably not starving. And then you have people that are they're not eating too well. So I'm wondering how you're preparing, or would you encourage the audience to prepare for what you think's coming?
Well, what I'm doing is somewhat like what you're doing. I already live out in the country. I live sort of in a rural area, not in the middle of nowhere, but in a rural area. I have a decent supply of food, I hope. I have a supply of water. I have solar on my house now. I have a grid-tied system, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to get some batteries and generator and all that good stuff. But if push comes to shove, I could always rewire the solar panels directly into the house and then recharge whatever I'd need to recharge.
Well, tell me about how much power you're generating with your solar.
Oh, I generate quite a bit. The thing about it, though, is solar still, as far as economically, it's still rather inefficient. And this is one of these great government programs. But in Tennessee, where I live, they have a green initiative, which makes absolutely no sense. But they've done it. So that's why I'm grid tied, is because I actually get paid a 12.5 cent premium per kilowatt hour that I produce over what I'm charged. And again, it makes no sense, but it's
It's there.
So right, yeah.
Okay, so you got
but what
your...
I could do is, I couldn't, as my house is now, I probably couldn't power the whole thing, but I could certainly power enough of it to get by if need be.
So you're actually, well, what percentage have you reduced your monthly bill by doing this?
I've virtually eliminated it.
Really?
Yeah.
So by having solar...
Because of the 12.5 cent premium that I get, though. Is the reason why.
Wow, that's like better than not.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but, and the thing about it is people, what's funny is I was listening to a podcast today done by a guy named Jim Poplava, and Poplava is a pretty mainstream guy. His website, Financial Sense, is one of Barron Magazine's top financial websites in the world. He is not like you and I. He's not a radical guy, right? But he sees a lot of this stuff coming too, and he was talking on the air today. This is a well-respected financial advisor, and he was talking about how he had a 6-month supply of food. He was getting an electric car because he was worried about the price of oil. He was having solar put on his house. He was doing other things that he wasn't going to talk about on the air. So the thing about it is it's not just you and me that are talking about this stuff, Ernie. Like when we talked about when we had dinner several weeks ago, people like Doug Casey, Bill Bonner, who were extremely bright guys and who have made a lot of money by forecasting future circumstances, are out of here. They've just left the country. I mean, Doug Casey will tell you that he would rather see what he thinks is going to happen in the U.S. He'd rather be watching it on his big screen in Argentina than be right in the middle of it. So it's not just the crazy people like you and I that are talking about this stuff. It's people that are a lot smarter than us that are talking about it as well.
Well, you know what happens is all of a sudden when your kids start thinking you're not as crazy anymore, you're getting traditional. You know what I mean?
And in my case, when my wife no longer thinks I'm a lunatic, I've made some headway.
I don't know what it takes. It's amazing it takes this long a lot of times. And one thing it's really been, I tell you what brought Donna around. Donna's always been supportive. She's known that, it's a good fight and she wasn't going to change me. I just, I'm in it, But and she's been very supportive and she's kind of understood, yeah, okay, you're in the right direction. Don't bother me with the details. It wasn't until the 2008 presidential cycle around Dr. Paul's campaign to where she saw it unfold and exactly how far the bad guys are willing to go just to keep the message quiet. And she was so angry. It was a personal thing with her that now she's on the warpath too. And I'm going, there's a lot.
I've met Donna. You don't want her on the warpath.
It's amazing. Once you get her warmed up, you know what I mean? So, but it takes a lot to do that, years. And now she's focused. I mean, every day when we've made this move and our, like little horsepower, you got to come by, man. It's pretty cool. So
I want to see it.
She's we're getting it developed and so on. But what she's doing is she's every day, all day she works. She goes, if I just work every day, all day, we might be able to make it in time because I got a year. Starting pistol went off. I said, we got a year. 1 year, and that's going to go by really fast for us to be able to get as much knowledge and archive what we're learning so that people benefit from this. And some of the other things that you're doing, I mean, I remember you telling me, you kind of surprised me, you guys got chickens now, right?
Yeah, we've got chickens, we've got a greenhouse, we have raised garden beds, but like you, I'm not a gardener, and I'm not home a whole lot, and my wife works as well. So, that's one of those deals where if things get bad, and they certainly can, I hope that we're able to pick up that stuff fast enough. One advantage that we have living out in the country is our neighbors, that's what they've done all their lives. They're farmers, they can stuff and all that sort of stuff. So, hopefully, I think one of the most important things that we can do is network with our neighbors, too.
That networking with information. You'll have some skills you bring to the table because your worthless American paper money ain't going to mean nothing. You know, what skills do you have? Well, we're getting
Right.
them. We'll be right back.